Welcome to Lutapod!
So Lutapod is a space for young women and girls to discuss and share their experiences, thoughts and views with the interaction of sports.
Today, we have an amazing guest called Angel! And usually in every episode, we have a new guest, and we have her today. So yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
So, firstly, we're just like, how are you? How are you doing today?
Stupendous, actually.
Stupendous.
Stupendous is
I like
different.
that.
I've not heard that one in a
long time. How are you feeling, Asmaa?
I'm feeling good. What about you?
I'm feeling hot. Okay, so the first question I'm going to ask you is, what sport do you take part in, and how did you find the sport?
Okay, that's a long one. Firstly, my main primary sport is football. I currently have a scholarship for that at uni. I study at UEL. I'm in my third year of uni. And on the side, I also do football. So I play for the second team at UEL and also play for the first team for football. I've had a whole load of sports in my life. I've done athletics, long distance running, cricket, like anything you think of where I'm active, I've just been in it. So, yeah.
And out of all the sports, obviously
Football.
She said, don't even finish.
Okay, so obviously you said you've been doing it for a long time. Mm-hmm. So when did you first find it? What, you playing football with your dad or something like that? What happened?
Okay, one, I don't know my father. But how did I find it? I'll be honest, I think football found me, in other words. I have ADHD. I'm very, 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 very active. I don't know what this guy's as I said, football found me. Being a young person or a young child with ADHD, I had so much energy. So I just wanted to find an outlet where I could release that energy, obviously for the better, for good. Because more time I'd even be getting in trouble in school because of how much energy and just excitement I have. For example, like not being able to concentrate in class. But then athletics and football back then it's my first love. It's my outlet. It's my peace. It's my love. It's my, everything.
I love it.
That's beautiful. So, has there been any obstacles you've faced in terms of sports and also with football? And how did you overcome those obstacles?
Oof. Okay, obstacles. I'd say firstly stereotypes and the stigma, gender stereotypes, injuries, having to deal with injuries, even not knowing the best way how. I think there's a lot of data, there's a lot of academic research in terms of, okay, for example, if a woman's body has an injury, how do you tailor recovery to a specific woman's body? Usually it's just a body in general, but obviously a man's body and a woman's body is totally different. For example, I have PCOS and they say my type of sport or the type of sports I get into is not recommended for people with PCOS. So there's lack of data, information, knowledge to be able to, obviously, I guess.
Yeah.
We get it. Do you want to go in depth, just a little bit about PCOS? Just for those who don't know who it is, what it is.
Okay, so peace.
No, I'm not.
Not a person.
I mean, people don't know. People don't know. They need to know.
Of course. PCOS stands for polycystic ovaries. It's when you have cysts in the womb or in the uterus, which is caused by that. We can go into that, but polycystic ovaries is challenging. Hormonal imbalance, pain, irregular periods. Oh, we're about to get touchy, boy. And also the mental aspect with it as well, not knowing what's going on with your body as a young person and wanting to find ways to, obviously this needs to be fixed, is kind of quite challenging. But yeah, obviously, especially in sport, having to balance the two, oof,
Yeah,
it can be difficult.
On a more positive note,
Mm.
have you achieved anything massive within the sport that you're very, very proud of? Like any successes through your journey?
That's a good question. I'll be honest, sport is a catalyst for many, many, many great moments. From as simple as achievement, like rich victory. For example, you may work hard for something and then you train, mentally train as physically train. Then obviously when you get that victory, that's very empowering. Specific moments, I would say how I've grown as a human in sport. Your character is built when you play sport in terms of tenacity, determination, confidence, resilience. I could go on. But being able to learn from those experiences and then for it to build you and shape you, that's quite powerful. I feel like you could learn a lot about yourself in sport because, especially for women in sport, usually you're putting yourself out there. Usually you're overcoming your fears. You are going headfirst into something. So I would say my individual growth, characteristically and mentally, physically, emotionally, this is everything.
Yeah. I wanted to ask in terms of stereotypes because you mentioned how that was one obstacle. Do you have any like personal examples of what you faced and what you think needs to be done for women who want to go into sports?
Okay, stereotypes. I would start with being able to juggle athleticism and femininity. I think the stigma is, how do I articulate this well? Being a woman in sport usually it comes with looking like a tomboy, acting masculine,
100%.
having a masculine body, for example, muscles, being big, stocky, things like that.
Yeah, I relate to that a lot. I feel like again, I did like combat sports, so obviously boxing, it's a lot of hand based, and I'll be honest, like even if you look at female boxers, we tend to look a little stocky or like a bit muscular, you know. And I can't lie, I juggled it. Like sometimes me wearing I wouldn't want to wear a tight dress for other reasons, but also I wouldn't even want to because my physique wouldn't look feminine. Do you know where I'm coming from? Sometimes if I wore like, you know, you can see my muscles. I don't know if you've ever seen like Calista Shields. She wears like really nice dresses. She looks so beautiful and it's so empowering. But when it comes to balancing femininity and because of the stereotypes that we face, I wouldn't feel comfortable with it, you know, because I just feel like I don't look like a female. But then that can go into like, what does a female
What does
look
it mean to even
look like a female?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? That could go,
Exactly.
you get to know that. But you know, I don't even feel comfortable wearing certain clothes because of my body shape, because the sports that you do can determine what body shape you might actually end up having. You know, those who like boxing, upper body, those who do running, lower body. You know, it all depends.
Yes.
But yeah, no, continue as you're saying. Like, did you have anything like specific? If you were okay to share.
I'd say mainly the femininity because it doesn't involve anyone else, but it involves my own internal view or perspective of who I am as a woman. For example, when I may wear athletic clothing like tracksuits or not, this is quite feminine attire, but something other than this, I would feel masculine. For example, my stride may be a bit more with a bop. Sometimes with the way that I speak, it may be a bit too direct and blunt because I don't feel soft, I don't feel feminine, I don't feel in my woman proud. I think that's something like that. So I say, my mental view on who I am, whilst juggling sport and whilst juggling my femininity or who I am as a woman, that therefore is a big impact of sport experience.
I feel like as well we need to understand that being feminine and being into sports, they don't necessarily have to be mutually exclusive. Like,
Facts.
that's just the stereotypical view society has created. Like, you even know sometimes when I'd come training here, I'd come with my acrylic
nails, like,
I'd
don't
come.
come crying to me when it breaks me.
But I'm like, nah, I don't care. Like, sometimes I'm like, I still want to feel feminine, but
Of
you know what I
course.
mean? Like, I love to dress up, but I love to do sports at the same time. And I feel like it's about how you take on those stereotypical views. Like, are you gonna enable it? Like, are you gonna make it an enabling factor to what you think? Oh, because people think I'm into sports, I'm not meant to be too feminine. And they also have like this stereotypical view, like if you do dress feminine or choose to care about the way you look or how you carry yourself in a feminine way, that you must be bad at that sport. Or you must not be good at the sport. Or like you don't take the sport seriously. I've had that so many times. Like people think I'm not good. Like, and it would be like, oh, because you caught me off guard, and I'd be like, what does that even mean? Like, do you know what? Yeah, like, it's so annoying. But yeah, it's not mutually exclusive at all, and it should never be.
I did want to counter your argument, because like sometimes for me, especially when I was like competing, like for me, femininity for me per se was like having long hair. Long hair. Let's just say long hair, right? Now, for competing, I cut my hair short to make my life easier. Yeah, because I used to wear hijab and too much head, like so much is going on through my head. Because I've got a lot of hair, I'm covering my hair, wearing hijab, everything. So I would literally cut my hair short just to make my life easier. Do you get it? I would come inside the gym wearing joggers and everything to make my life easier when it comes to changing and stuff. Do you get it? Do you get where I'm coming from?
100%.
Like, I'm not saying that, I do it because of what the reasons you were saying, but I did it because it's easier. And obviously I'm like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to wear if I know I got training in the evening and I got like, let's say, uni in the daytime, I wouldn't put makeup on because I know I got training afterwards. I'm gonna have to wipe that off.
No way!
It's
I don't like that.
which is amazing.
I go to school, I teach my students, I come looking nice, and I'm like, let me take off my makeup.
Exactly, and that's amazing. But you know, at the time when especially when you're training in the morning, putting the makeup on to go uni, to then take it off when you get.
No, but trust me, with practice, it just becomes so like, it just becomes so easy.
That's what I'm saying. You do have you have a decision on how you want to do it.
100%.
But obviously, to make my life easier, I just think like that. The next question I wanted to ask you was, why is female representation in sports so important? Do you think it's important?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
What if she said no?
Just shut the whole thing. First, I'd say it's a catalyst for cultural shift. We need to break stereotypes, standards. Why else is it crucial? Because we can also be a role model as well for younger women. There's not many role models where we can look up to. Don't get me wrong, there are a few, there are some, but it's not as great as, for example, the male community. So I feel like sport participation for women is very crucial for that reason as well. It's inspiring, it empowers young people, gives them someone to look up to. What other reason? So for example, like the point I made earlier, there's not enough data, there's not enough research, academic research. The more that we are in sport participation as women, the more that there's more data, the more that there's more understanding, there's more scientific research based on the participation obviously out there. I say the physical and the mental benefits, which is, I think, well known. Obviously, not everyone will know that, but obviously the physical attributes, being healthy, feeling fit, looking fit, Don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that you have to be toned though. Fit just means that you take care of your body, what you put in and what you do to obviously maintain health and well-being. Health and well-being is very important. Yeah.
No, that you answered that really nicely. Now, if we're talking about males, okay, have you had like at any point of your like journey with sports, did you have any issues with the opposite gender when it came to sports?
Yes.
Was that okay?
Yes.
If you're okay to share,
Of course, 100%.
I would love that.
Ugh. By the way, my oof is like a,
Yeah,
it's like a, whew.
It's a lot, yeah.
Okay, firstly, male coaches. We're gonna, if you want to go deep, if you want to go deep, let's go deep. Are you ready?
We're gonna have a whole last conversation.
Let's go.
Go on.
Male coaches and female athletes. Okay, so for example, let's start with a male coach. Inappropriateness, saying things you shouldn't be saying to a young woman, looking at them in a certain way, sexually is that the word?
Yeah, objectifying.
Objectifying women because they may be in certain clothing. Because obviously we've got breasts when we run. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Obviously we're women with bigger.
Yeah.
It's even worse. So obviously men seeing that, sometimes I've come across men don't know how to differentiate professionalism to what they see.
And how they act.
And how they act, yes. That's one. Being objectified, that's a whole nother, that's from coaches and just in general, men in general. Don't get me wrong, not all men, not all men, but you have a few. Yes.
Not all men.
I say those are the first two that came to
Those are like pretty
Heavy ones,
and that is also I think another reason why a lot of people don't even come into the sport, because I'm sorry to say it, but when you hear of sports you think of men. Now even if you were to go into any sport, women only, whatever, there will be some sort of maybe male coach, someone helping out a man, and
having to even prove yourself.
But the fact that you said about, feeling like objectified and especially like sexually, it won't help women to come into the sport.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? And it's so annoying that, like, luckily here it's a youth centre. So Faculties is a youth centre as well. So a lot of the coaches that we have here are experienced in working with young people. But when you go elsewhere outside, there's no safeguarding training that they need to do. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know the importance of how to conduct themselves. They just think they're great at coaching. That's what they can do.
That's it.
Exactly. And I thought that's one of the big reasons. Thank you for sharing that, because I think that's one of the biggest reasons why women don't feel comfortable in training with men or going to places where there's like a male coach.
It's the same with gym.
Yeah.
I think a lot of females struggle or are scared or fearful to go to gym because it's such a male-dominated environment. How you're looked at, perceived at.
When you go into the weights, like the weights area, oh my god. I'm just like, toodles, I'm not coming back here. Just turn around, do a whole U-turn.
Oh my god.
I can't. Based on some of the barriers that you've said and also just stereotypical views of women, what advice or suggestions would you give to for women so they can overcome these? Not only for women but also for men. So like not all men, but to do better. Yeah.
Ooh. That's okay. Firstly, how to overcome them. What were the barriers I said?
So
I'm being sexually objectified. Let's talk about that one,
Yeah.
because I don't think people understand the importance of that.
See, now that one's a sticky one because it's like now a woman has to think about what she has to do to not do something that is
Yeah.
that shouldn't be tolerated. Does that make sense? See, the first thing that would have come to my head is to dress appropriately, but then why should you have to dress appropriately to not receive the
respect or like just genuine?
Yeah, oh, this is tough.
What about for the men then? That are
The men.
coaches?
See, now that's also tough because I'm not a man to tell how a man should be. But I can say how we feel, I guess, and it doesn't feel nice to be looked at in a certain way when you just want to train or you want that safe space to be at peace or offload in a physical aspect. But I would say for men, I guess just to keep it real, men have eyes, women have eyes, yeah? And men will look, but there's a level of looking. You can look to appreciate beauty and what God has made, but at the same time, don't stare, don't give certain like, ooh, hello. Like, it's just like, and also, know when to approach a woman. If you, don't get me wrong, men are attracted to women, it's life. But for example, let's say I'm working out and I'm in the middle of a squat or a set, and you're miss. Let me chat to you. Like no, like
experience that, you know.
like at least know when to
Conduct yourself properly, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Just there's a right time, there's a right place. Think wisely, and try and put yourself in the other person's shoes. Just to, would that person be comfortable? And yeah, just respect.
That makes sense.
Obviously, you're still in football, and you're still doing football. Tell us about your journey so far and how you've been finding it all.
Okay, so I've had an up and down relationship with football. So it was one of my first joint sports. So before, when I was young, I was in athletics and football. But athletics, I loved, I don't know if we want to put that to you, athletics, but football, I don't know if it's the difference in athletics is a single-based sport, your individual sport, whereas football is a team-based. So I don't know if it was the socializing or being a family on a pitch that made it better, that made it a better experience for me. But yeah, football was always the number one. How did I get into it? So, you know Lewisham Leisure Centre? You have the cages there.
Yeah.
That's where I was all the time.
Really?
I was usually mostly the only girl as well. Growing up in sport, always I've raised playing football with just boys, never really girls. But that's because of lack of participation. And here and there, some people would scout me, but then having a African parent, football or sports wasn't viewed as a successful career when I was younger. So that was another challenge or another barrier. She wanted me either to be, don't get me wrong, she would support me in anything I want to do. But she would have preferred, I guess, a lawyer, a doctor.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, that was one thing, cultural barrier, sorry. And then after, like, I used to play for a couple teams. I then got scouted for Chelsea, and when my mum said that I couldn't play for them because it's like, why are you wasting your time on football? She didn't understand the love. She wanted me to be more productive with my time, which I understand and I can see from her perspective. But I guess she just didn't see it from my perspective, the love and the escape or the what's the word, when you release during sport, whatever that, yeah. So then when she declined that, afterwards I was just like, you know what, then there's no point in football, what's the point? So then I had a big gap, probably at least 8-9 years. And then I went to uni in 2020. during COVID, so we didn't really have football then. So I started my first year in football in 2021. They had said so at first when they said you can get a scholarship, I was like, I am nowhere near good. Yeah, I'm not even going to put myself out there for that because why should I? And then during my first year happened, then second year, when I enrolled for the next year, second, I got an email and said, due to your academic process, your progress and your sporting progress, we want to give you a scholarship. I said, I said, me. I was like, yeah, let's go. I mean, why not? And then obviously I then got back into sport. It was quite terrifying because you had some girls that are playing for big teams, and I'm there and I'm like, I haven't kicked a ball in 8 years. Obviously being a mature athlete as well, or mature student, should I say. Obviously I'm 25, and usually my teammates are 18, 19, 20s. So all of that playing in my head, but at the same time, I was like, the opportunity is there, so why not? Let me put myself out there. And then obviously since I've gotten better at football, the experiences, the opportunities that's come with that, the scholarship program, the friends I've made along the way, it's been quite a journey. I wouldn't say I'll go career. It's not my career. It's just a hobby. If I do get an opportunity, then no problem. But that's not really where I see.
Do you mind me asking, what do you see?
Okay.
And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like...
Oh, another thought just came to me, another barrier.
Go on. Sure.
But it links. So usually when someone asks me what is my goals, I have my career goals and then I have my long-term end-to-end goal, and that is to be a wife and a mother. Being a woman in sport and having to juggle being just womanhood or being a woman, being a mother, for example, if you were to put in that situation, it's very hard. Sorry, that was just something that came to mind. Anyway, so long term, I want to be a wife. I want to be a mother. I want to have a family. Career-wise, so I want to eventually own or manage an academy for vulnerable young people with disabilities such as myself. Like I said, I got ADHD, and people from vulnerable areas. I was raised in the East, the Gulag. Yeah. So obviously it's a disadvantaged community. My community was a disadvantaged community. So I want to provide opportunities to tackle that. I also just started my own business, a travel consultancy. So that's kind of taken my path in a different way, but I'm also trying to do this. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I really do.
Honestly, wish you all the best with every single one of your goals.
Thank you, inshallah. Thank you.
Yes, inshallah. You would definitely achieve every single one of them. Your mindset is beautiful, so there's absolutely no reason why not.
We're nearly at the end of the podcast, and I just wanted to ask, share some words that you want to share to the girls and the women out there that want to take part in sports. You know, any encouraging words that you have?
Sometimes jump in the deep end. And I know it can be scary. I know it can be fearful. But how would you know if you don't try? Always try things. I would say what's the worst that can happen, but obviously that statement only goes so far. But obviously if you try a sport and you like it, happy days. If you don't like it, on to the next. Try different things, put yourself out there. Sometimes go in head first if you can, if you have the confidence to. What else?
But yeah, no, I love that. I loved it. Well,
I have a few more.
feel free.
Tell us.
Yeah, just be courageous. Just try and be fearless. That's the way. Yeah, fearless, courageous. Just put yourself there.
Love that.
If you can, if possible. Yeah.
I love that, honestly. No, Thank you, Angel, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You've been absolutely amazing, honestly.
Thank you.
It's nice to hear about something different other than combat sports. So we don't do football here, so it's nice to see like a fresh perspective on a different whole, like a whole different sport.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.